Elora Danon is taken, Kit and Jade have issues, and a friend is lost. Hello, entertainment enthusiasts. This is Ray, and this is the Fandom Realm. And today I am reviewing episode number 3 of Willow. Now, to start out our recap, I do just want to go over what happened at the end of the last episode, and that was that Ballantine and his group had been turned into monsters, basically. They look like human, but they were possessed. And they have come and they took Elora Danon, and that leads us into this episode number 3. And we get to start out as Boorman is narrating a story to Kit about how the Chimerian cuirass was made. And the point of this is to talk about her father as well. And she gets very impatient and tells him to get on to the part about her father. She calls him boring, alluding to his name of Boorman. They're eventually going to be interrupted by the others of the group who have noticed that Elora is missing. While searching for Elora, Kit sees the plant that has arisen from Elora's final desperate attempt to cast a spell. Jade sees Ballantine tying Elora to his horse and tells him to let her go. Everyone converges on the spot and a fight breaks out between our heroes and the soldiers. Graydon tries to untie Elora, but is unable to do it successfully, and after Willow throws a smoke bomb as a distraction, Ballantine and the others escape. It's almost like they disappeared. Kit and Jade notice that the soldiers were not themselves and ask Willow about it. Graydon is going to showcase a surprising knowledge about magic and says that they were possessed. Our heroes head out in pursuit of Elora and stop when they notice a terrifying looking vortex filling up the sky. They also hear the voice of the crone speaking Penactic, and Graydon translates the words that state an ominous prophecy. When Graydon asks if they are going to kill her, Willow says that their actual goal is to banish her and trap her soul in eternity, and that has to be done by Elora Danon. As the soldiers approach a forest, Elora cuts herself free and runs into the safety of the trees. The heroes, on the other hand, are going to be derailed when a wagon wheel comes off, and they're forced to stop and try to repair it. While this is happening, Kit and Jade argue because Kit is still bothered about the importance of Elora and just wants to be her rash, impulsive self, facing a problem head-on without much planning. Now, while Elora is running away from the soldiers, she finds a dwelling in a brighter part of the forest where 2 women, Hubert and Anne, are just laying back and basically having like their own little homestead there. They welcome Elora and brush off her warnings of oncoming danger until they sit down and listen to her entire story of being the long-lost princess. And that is something that is going to sort of excite them and get them up and wanting to help her. And they pledge their allegiance to her. Ballantine is going to show up and warns them against fighting back, but Hubert swings her axe at him and gets a hit in. She sort of relaxes because she thinks she's stabbed him and that he's done, but he's going to, of course, be possessed. So immediately he stabs her and kills her. Elora and Anne run away, but are cornered by the others. They end up killing Anne, and Elora agrees to go with them because she feels guilty that others have to die because of her. The group reaches a fork in the path, and Boorman suggests going over a more treacherous path while Silas wants to go the other way. Kit notices that Boorman knows something the others don't and agrees to split up and accompany him on the more dangerous path. He continues to tell her about the magical significance of the cuirass, but isn't exactly clear about what happened to her father. Now, I do just want to point out, we also, once they get ready to split up, they're in a situation where Jade and Kit are going to have another argument, and Jade is worried about Kit going off by herself because of her military experience and her fighting style, and Kit tells Jade that, hey, I beat you every time we spar. And that's when Jade points out to Kit that she basically let her win because she was the princess. That is really going to upset Kit and cause her to want to go go the other direction with Boorman. The rest of the group that set off together, they're going to get stopped again. The cart gets stuck in the mud, and Jade and Graydon are going to wonder why Willow doesn't use his magic to set them free. Basically, at that point, Willow and Silas are going to reminisce about their past, and Willow mentions that his magic is for when things get perilously worse, implying that his magic is in limited supply. Boorman and Kit arrive at the Slaughtered Lamb Inn and find a graveyard. Kit wonders if anything Boorman told her is true, and he says that the owner of the inn was someone that he and Mad Mardigan trusted, and there must be something hidden around his grave. They go inside a structure, and Boorman jumps down a well, telling Kit to pull him up later and watch out for the were-rats. The soldiers arrive at the Slaughtered Lamb and wonder why Kit and Boorman's horses are just left out in the open. They look up at the castle on the mountain nearby and claim they're close to their destination. Elora says that they're not surviving the journey, and the odds are they will end up dead by the looks of things. Of course, their bodies are sort of decaying. Willow gets a vision earlier of where they're headed and tells the other. Elora is going to decide to stand her ground, and when one of the soldiers tries to grab her, she touches his skin and burns it at that place. She's going to get a rush of confidence here and tells them that she's going to cast a spell that will call her allies to her aid. She booms out the growing spell, and right then, Willow and the others show up. Now, Boorman in the well is going to find a scroll or key of sorts hidden in the walls of the well, and it looks like part of what he was describing to Kit at the start of the episode when he was talking about the Curie and basically what it was used for and the importance of it. It looked like what they used to put the magic in the armor. And so he's going to hide that, and he's going to hear Kit yell down at him. She's seen a were-rat. She kills the first one. He tells her that he hasn't found anything, and she's going to pull him out. Only problem is, where there's one rat, there's usually more rats, and they're going to be surrounded by dozens of the were-rats. Jade is going to fight with Ballantine as Silas and Graydon fight the others, with Elora stranded in the middle with no way of helping. Kit and Boorman break out through a wall and join the fight, but they appear to be getting overwhelmed. Willow suggests that they get in the cart and they run away. Actually, he feels like he's got some type of protection on the cart that the soldiers won't be able to get through. I didn't really understand that part. Problem is, there's going to be a lightning strike and it destroys the cart. When Silas is thrown to the wall and defeat seems near, Willow bellows out a spell and slams his staff on the ground, which knocks back the soldiers. Lots of light's going to come out. It's going to be almost like a pulsing light, and it's going to basically defeat the soldiers, although they're not dead. Willow is going to hurry to Silas's side, and sadly, Silas is going to tell him not to waste his magic trying to heal and save him. He needs to save his magic for more important things. Silas passes away, and Boorman is going to bury him amongst the other graves. While all this is happening, Ballantine tells Jade that he's proud of her, and she must continue on the journey to defeat the crone. She then strikes the final blow, killing him after he asks her to be the one to do it. So she puts him out of his misery. Of course, he was not in good shape because of being possessed. She is going to have a lot of grief about this, as she was very close to Ballantine. He had been her teacher. The group is going to continue on their journey without any horses this time. They actually head up some steps that Willow doesn't really want to go up, and Willow is going to tell Elora that she needs to continue her training, all the while they are getting actually just belted by rain at the time. Graydon is going to collapse, and he reveals that he was hurt by dark magic when Boorman claims that they have no idea where they are. Willow corrects him and says they are at Nockmaar as he looks across to a huge, scary-looking castle. And the episode ends. Now, I've got quite a few things to say about this episode, and so I'm not actually going to go back and do all the positives and all the negatives together. I'm just going to go literally over sort of my thoughts on what is going on. The first thing actually is something very good and something that has been very surprising, and that's the character of Graydon. I like how they are casually revealing that he has more knowledge of magic. He's smart. He knows curse languages. These are character traits that I think are very positive, and he is going to end up being a huge help to the group. Whereas when they start out, he's sort of timid. He sets back. He's not taking place up front. in the group. Second thing, and this is very sort of neutral, and we knew it had to happen. We have a quest. We have to have somebody die. We have to have, in a quest like this, this is one of those tropes that's in pretty much all fantasy like this. A master has to die. A friend has to die to sort of move the story on and encourage our heroes to keep doing what they're doing. And of course, Valentine in this situation fits the master apprentice trope with Jade, and so not surprising that this was going to happen. Anybody who saw those last 2 episodes should have known she was going to end up having to kill him. Silas, that was probably a little more surprising. I was thinking it would be one of the rest of the group, but he did seem to be, in the last 2 episodes, sort of the odd person out. Because why did he come? Just because he was friends with Willow? He sort of was set up, it seems like, to be the one that was going to die, and of course that's going to be part of what forces Willow to actually use his magic. Again, we've seen this a million times. Now, I actually don't have a lot of good to say about this episode. One of the biggest turnoffs for me is this idea of filmmakers trying to show that darkness is invading a land by absolutely just making the screen as dark as possible. You can't see a lot of what is happening. You can't see what is going on through most of this episode. I think I only have 14 pictures that I'm playing through because most of what you would want is so dark. You can't get a screenshot of it that's any good or can be fixed good enough to put on a presentation. And so that has really turned me off, that it is all so dark, and it's not just one thing for me. I actually watched it to do the review, and then I was like, I want to see if this is the same on my computer. So I watched it on the TV first, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to try it on my computer and see if it's just something between the screens. It was the same or worse. And so it's a huge turnoff. I want to see these sets that we're looking at. I want to see the surroundings we're in, even if they're gray and dark and desolate. But when you're doing what they did in this episode, it's just no fun for the viewer. And this takes me back to when they used to do big special effects at night, because you could hide problems with the special effect doing it at night or doing it in the rain. People aren't going to notice it as much. Come on, Lucasfilm and Disney. You have all this new technology. You can do better on the lighting. You have this, what is it called? Screencast or whatever it's called that they've used in The Mandalorian, and it is absolutely phenomenal. Are you telling me you're not using that here? You got to brighten it up so people can see what's happening. And that really turned me off to the entire episode. The other thing is I cannot stand this character of Jade. It's been very forced from the very beginning. I was hoping I would start to like the character. I liked the actress when she played in Solo, but I don't know if it's the writing or the actress, but it's just bland. I don't care about it. I don't care about her relationship with Kit either. It all seems just very forced. And there's no chemistry to me between those two actresses that there should be in that situation. And that is something that has sort of weighed on me too. I was hoping, again, it would get better, but I don't see that it has. Also, I'm not sure really where I'm at on Willow yet. The character Willow. I'm just sort of lukewarm on what's going on with him right now. Some of it might be the writing. Again, the writing seems very bland for him. I don't know sort of some history behind it, and magic. I didn't know magic was really limited in this universe, which it seems like it is. I don't know if that's because of his confidence. I don't know if he just needs more positive reinforcement. I don't know what's going on. But Willow was a great character in the original movie. I love the character of Willow, and I'm just not sure what's going on with Willow in this series so far. It has not been what I thought was going to happen. And I'm not sure if that's the writer's fault or if that's Warwick Davis just not maybe being as great of an actor as I thought he was. I mean, I'm not saying he was one of the greatest actors out there, but I think he's always been solid in anything he's played. But this is pushing it a little bit, and hopefully there's a little more energy and life to that character as we move on. Now, one little last thing to end on the positive, and that is Elora Danon. I sort of like her progression. She's starting to sort of come out of her shell, which she was in, sort of taking a stand against the soldiers there at the end. I like seeing that. They're moving her towards being the Empress and being the one that's going to banish the crone. And so I think that's something that I've enjoyed quite a bit too. Oh, and I lied. Another negative. I'm already done with them talking about Mad Mardigan. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that Val Kilmer is not going to be in this movie. If he's not going to be in this movie, they should have killed him off and don't discuss him. Okay? And they're just sort of keeping it going every episode. And they just need to get rid of that if they're not going to have him in the show. It's just one of those storylines that's a distraction, I think. Now, with all that being said, I need to grade this episode. And I'm going to say, sadly, this episode is getting a D. I really was turned off by it. I don't feel this negative about lots of episodes in TV, but I just was turned off. Just the darkness in most of the episode was enough to do it for me. Halfway through, I was ready to turn it off. And I also didn't mention why in the world did they add those two women in the middle of the forest just to kill them. That was one of the dumbest things in the world. And so I'm giving this episode a D. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this review of Willow, episode number 3, called The Battle of the Slaughtered Lamb. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment below, and I'll see you next time on the Fandom Realm.